Hey, I'm G-Man. That there's T-Money. Welcome to the Feb 8 Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. It's Super Bowl week in Arizona, where the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles will clash with the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. Super Bowl 57, T-Money. Are you ready?
Oh, man, going to be a great Super Bowl. A lot on the line here. Patrick Mahomes could be in the GOAT conversation. He starts winning this one. Shout out to the GOAT of basketball real quick. LeBron James, all-time leading scorer now. Had to throw that in there. But going to be a great week. You know, already a great week of sports with that and the Super Bowl. And we got the Waste Management out in Arizona, too. That's always a fun golf one. I mean, it's just a wild weekend of sports capped off with the biggest game of football year. Mahomes versus Hurts, Reed versus Sirianni and his old team, the Kelsey brothers going at it. There's so many great storylines to be had here and just an exciting time all around.
Oh, yeah, nice. I like your enthusiasm. Getting ready for golf, huh? Got the team money, got the bag out. You got the new bag you're sporting this year.
Watch out.
Hey, Eagles 16-3. They cruise through the regular season. Chiefs 16-3. They've won 12 of the last 13. Something's got to give, man. Kickoff 6:30 p.m. Sunday. Hey, y'all, do us a favor, press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. Hope you like all of our new graphics. Our marketing team's really cranking these days, baby. We are out there moving for you, making the show better. Thanks for all your feedback, man. Let's go to the NFL rundown. We got a quick show for you, but we do have bets coming up. Get ready. Hey, let's first talk about the Eagles, T-Money. What do you think the keys are to Philly winning the Super Bowl?
It's got to be, for me, because this team's good at everything. But for me, it's Jalen Hurts being able to throw the deep ball, okay? Getting Devontae Smith and especially A.J. Brown involved deep. Jalen Hurts has looked a little rusty in these playoffs. He clearly is still hurting from that injury. He's dirting balls. He's leaving guys short. He's only had a total 270 yards in the playoffs. And A.J. Brown and him were some of the best in the league this year in the deep ball. And I think to really stretch these guys out and work these rookie corners that the Chiefs have, Jalen Hurts has to be able to connect with A.J. Brown on the deep ball. Not just the run game, not just the dink and dunks. They got to be able to push the ball down the field.
Well, hey, I kind of agree with you there, but I've got a little different model for how this game is going to play out. And I think it's going to be that Philly running game is going to be what makes it happen. I don't know that they need to get that ball down the field to win this game if they can play great defense. And so I think, yeah, you're right. They do have that downfield threat, and they're going for it, and I can see that happening for sure. But I think the biggest matchup in this game is that Eagles pass rush. Can they get to Mahomes, tie him up, sack him? And I think they can.
Yeah, that's totally true. I think the Eagles have a plethora of ways to really win this. They could just run the clock out. The defense plays great. Jalen Hurts throws the ball. He runs all over the place. The running backs run all over the place. I mean, I do think there is just a ton of options for them to win. But for me, I think they're going to have to keep up with Hurts is going to have to keep up with Mahomes. Mahomes is going to put up 30 points. It doesn't matter who the defense is. And so can they keep up with him? The run game can only get you so far. You got to be able to score through the air when you are playing these Chiefs.
Well, you're right if you think they're going to score 30 points, but I don't think that's how they win this game. They have to hold them to 21 points to win this game. Mahomes, they got to hold Mahomes to 21 points.
Yeah.
They can win this game. If they give up 30, they got to outscore them. But I don't think that's going to have to happen, and nor do I think it will happen. I think that defense, the Eagles, 78 sacks in one season is third most in NFL history.
Yeah.
Their sacks, their pressure on Mahomes is the big key. Philly's defense has been their key all year. And I think they hold the Chiefs to 21 points and win this game.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a big part. You know, those are just expectations I kind of already have, though. So that's, I think, why I lean towards Jalen Hurts is key here, is because he's the only real question mark we have about this team, right? We know they got a good defense. We know they got a good run game. Can Jalen Hurts not only show up in this game under pressure, but throw the ball deep accurately in his biggest game of his career?
Well, if he can, they win this game.
Yeah, for sure.
If he gets it down the field deep, they're going to win.
Yeah. Well, let's switch to the other side of the ball then. I want to know your keys to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, I think it's the same thing I just said for the Eagles. We know the Chiefs can score. So it's their defense that's going to be the key to winning the Super Bowl. Chris Jones, third in the NFL right now in tackles. Chris Jones, third in the NFL in sacks. Chris Jones behind Bosa and Reddick from the Eagles. Reddick from the Eagles is number one. Chris Jones is third, Myles Garrett fourth. So I think the sacks, the defense has to step up for Kansas City in this game. And this is going to be one of their keys to win here is does Chris Jones have multiple sacks in this game? I'm kind of leading into some of my player props we're going to get to. And another big player in that defense, cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. Does he force a turnover? I think he does do that. Sneed gets an interception or somehow forces a fumble, which he has done many times. Those are the two guys that have to step up and help that defense.
Yeah. Chris Jones probably going to be second in voting for Defensive Player of the Year here. If Nick Bosa didn't exist, he'd probably win it. He was a monster this year for that team. So I agree. This defense has really got to show up if they want to be in this game. But I'm going to go to the other side of the ball here.
Okay.
For the Chiefs. Okay. I think this game's going to come down to the Chiefs' offensive line. All right. I know you mentioned earlier the key for the Eagles is to get pressure on Mahomes. And that's the key, I think, for the Chiefs. This Chiefs O-line is good, not great, but the Eagles defensive line is great. Like you said, third most sacks in NFL history, most this year. All right. So that's the biggest thing. Is Mahomes going to be running for his life like he was versus the Bucks and Brady a few years ago and just not have a chance? Or if they can protect him somewhat, can they keep him on his feet long enough with that one bum leg? Because remember, he's got a hurt ankle so that he can win this Super Bowl. And so I think it's the O-line giving him enough time. Can they protect Patrick Mahomes? Because it doesn't matter who he's throwing to. That's not the issue. He's going to get it done no matter what. So if they can protect him, I think they can pull out this game, but it's going to come down to the trenches for me.
It's really interesting. Great points, T-Money. These teams are so close. It's going to be interesting to see who steps up and comes through here for us. Hey, we're going to come back later on with some picks here and some player props. Let's cover a couple big items around the NFL, starting with Derek Carr, T-Money. Derek Carr's contract becomes guaranteed before the Super Bowl. Yeah. Do you think the Raiders cut Carr?
I think they're going to end up – I think he ends up getting cut because he's not going to let them dictate where he goes. He's got a no-trade clause. So unless – he basically has to come – he's visiting the Saints. He's talked to other teams. He basically has to come to a new deal with those teams by the time this happens. Half these guys haven't even figured out their cap situation or who they're drafting. So I think it's too early. And so because of that, Derek Carr is not going to let him trade him anywhere. He would like to have pick of the litter. And so I think he gets cut and becomes this year's first quarterback free agent. And not sure where he goes. Saints was kind of a weird one for me. They just are in cap hell when they keep digging into mediocre quarterbacks. You know, the Raiders are definitely cutting him. So the Jets is an option. Carolina's an option. Heck, the Bucks are a great spot for him. I think we both said that earlier this year. So I would love him at the Bucks. There's definitely some interesting spots here for Derek Carr to go to.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I like all that. New Orleans good for Carr, but not for the Saints. Saints have that cap situation. And is he really that much better than Jameis Winston? I don't know if I'd break the bank that he's that much better than Winston. So I'm not going to break the bank for that, man. So I think, yeah, New Orleans would be good for Carr, but I don't know what's good for the Saints. I like my number one pick. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Still, my number one pick's Tampa Bay. Got
Yep.
Evans and Godwin. Got that offensive line. He'd be the best quarterback in that division.
Yeah, that's
The
so
Bucks
true.
only have Kyle Trask right now. They have to have somebody. He could step in there and win. My second one, as I had picked before, I staying with it. My second one is the Jets. The Jets, strong offensive talent, good defense, set up for a playoff run. They're
Yep.
probably going to make the playoffs if they get a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Jets would be a great spot for him too.
Yep. Let me throw another dark horse in there. Let's see if Indianapolis keeps rolling with the next veteran quarterback they can find. That would be another one I'd keep an eye out for because that roster is still pretty good. But if I was them, I'd stop with the Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers of this world and just draft a QB for once.
Yeah, the GM needs to get that pick right or he's going to lose his job.
Yeah.
They've already messed up. The next guy to go is going to be the GM. I don't think he takes a chance on a veteran at Indy. I think he's going to go with someone younger or more. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let me ask you on a different QB. So we talked about Derek Carr here. The other hot name right now is Aaron Rodgers, and all signs are pointing towards the Jets. So, should the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers, G-Man?
Well, I just said, man, the Jets are a quarterback away, and they're going to make the playoffs. These guys are coming off a 7-10 season, and a big reason they were 7-10 was quarterback. Their defense is great. Their defense can get in the playoffs and win.
Yeah.
So, well, who are the top options? Is Aaron Rodgers one of the top ones? Of course, yes. Yes, definitely. Mike White is not the answer, although they love Mike White.
Yeah.
He's just not going to do it, man. He's 2-5 as a starter, 76 QB rating in those 7 games. He's not the guy. So they've got to bring someone in. They're going to bring someone in, I think. And so who's it going to be? And number one on their list is Aaron Rodgers. I understand that the owner has already said he's going to do what it takes to get Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's a big step right there, just hearing that. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett as the OC, who Rodgers knows well. There's another big step. So I think it's a risky move for the Jets because of his age, but I think it could pay off for a couple of years.
Yep. I am weird with this one because I am not a big Aaron Rodgers fan at the moment. I just think he's on the downhill.
Yeah.
But I do think they should make this trade. The Jets are a lowly franchise. If they get in the playoffs, they're excited. They win a game in the playoffs, they've won the Super Bowl. And that's the reality of this. Right now, I think he can get back to not as many turnovers. They have a great run game. And their defense, Aaron Rodgers rarely has a top 10 defense. And when he does, he's usually pretty good. This team could win 11 to 12 games with Aaron Rodgers next year. And if you can somehow get him for maybe a second-round pick, because these Packers want to get off this money, and they'd be willing to do that. And you almost would have to pay less because you're taking on such a bad contract, an old guy who kind of looked bad last year. So if you could get him for a second-round pick, I do it. I don't know if I do it for a first. Personally, I think you're asking too much from me. 2 seconds or second in a future third, I could think of it. But I'd do it. I'd bring him in, and I think this team with typically a guy like Aaron Rodgers who can protect the ball and not turn it over, I think that's perfect for this team.
Come on, Jets, Jets. Come on, Jets. Make this happen, man. Team Money and I both think you should do it. Hey, you look at someone like Derek Carr. I don't know if Derek Carr could handle the New York pressure, but I think Aaron Rodgers could take it. Aaron Rodgers will take the bullets and he'll just keep on going.
He doesn't care.
I think a New York market probably fits him.
Yeah. It does kind of quirky, crazy, and he can just deflect. He's been under the microscope for the past few years already, so he's ready for it.
Another guy I like that'll never happen, but I think would be a premium pickup would be Lamar Jackson. I don't think it happens. You're going to tell me why, but if they could get Lamar, he'd be the other elite quarterback that can make that team go.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I would love that. I think that would be great for this team. I just think that'd be difficult with their offensive line at the moment. It's not that great, so I don't know how great he would be as a passer and runner. But I do love the fit. I mean, hey, Lamar Jackson with a pretty stacked roster, we know they can do dangerous things and win a playoff game. So, the offense isn't centered around him like it is down in Baltimore, so that might be a little different for him. But hey, I'd give up 3 first-rounders for Lamar Jackson right now. I don't know about you guys, but that seems like a great deal for both sides.
Okay, man, we're agreeing on a lot today.
Yeah.
Hey, it's now 12 seasons in a row. I got a question for Team Money. 12 seasons in a row now that the Jets have missed the playoffs. If they can make this move, they get to the playoffs. But 12 seasons in a row is the longest streak in the NFL. Team Money, who is second? Who's got the second longest streak for not making the playoffs?
Second longest streak? I'm going to say Detroit.
Detroit is third, Team Money. 6 years in a row for Detroit. 12 seasons for
it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders.
It's the Denver Broncos. The second spot, Denver Broncos. But hey, man, you're right on there with the Lions. Lions are right there too. Hey, man, let's move on to our picks for the Super Bowl as we wrap up this very quick show here. We're going to move on to our picks. We got all kinds of picks for you guys out there.
Oh, yeah.
We've been hot this year, Team Money, Father, Son, and Holy Sport. Gee, man, we're picking it for you this year. Philly's a 1.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under's 50. Okay. Team Money, who wins the game?
Oh, man. The Eagles have the better offensive line, the better defensive line, the better receiving core, the better running back, the better linebackers, the better corners. But they don't have Patrick Mahomes. And that's why the Chiefs will win this. It's going to be a close game. So give me the Chiefs plus 1.5. I think they're going to win this outright. So if you want to bet money line, you might as well just take the extra few points you'll get there. I like it. I heard a stat today that the last 32 games the Chiefs have played in have been 4-point games or less. They've not been blown out in 32 straight games. And if you're telling me that this is going to be a close game, and in the biggest moment, Patrick Mahomes has the ball in his hands with a minute left, I can't not think that he's going to win this. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. He's on GOAT trajectory right now, hence the hat for him here. And I just think he's too good. And Travis Kelce's too good. And these Eagles are too young and inexperienced. And I like the Chiefs in this.
Team Money making his pick. And usually we don't pick the same pick or pick a different pick because we don't want our fans to get, we want it to be clear for our fans. But in a Super Bowl, anything can happen. And I'll tell you what, I got Philly in this game, man. I think Philly wins. Philly wins and covers. They do it with their defense and their running game. The Eagles are 4 sacks away from the most sacks in NFL history, including the playoffs. They're going to get that. Mahomes gets the MVP, but as I mentioned, the last 9 players to win the MVP and reach the Super Bowl have lost. And it's going to happen again. And I'll give you another pick. I know you got some other ones on the over-under. I think it goes under for the reasons I mentioned. Running, defense. Both the Eagles and Chiefs are ranked 1-2 in the regular season in sacks.
Yeah.
So those are the top 2 sack teams. I think we get some sacks here in this game. And I think that defense holds together for Philly. And they get to Mahomes in that bad ankle and catch him.
All right.
What do you look? You got an over-under? You got
I like the over. I like the over in this one.
You like the over?
I think the Chiefs just always end up in shootouts. So if I'm picking the Chiefs, that kind of is the way things go when the Chiefs
got to go with your
games.
game script. Yeah, you got to go with your game script.
But I got a player prop for you here too, G-Man. All right.
What do you got?
I'm going to go with 2 different anytime touchdown guys. I know it's basic here, but Jalen Hurts minus 115 for an anytime touchdown. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns this year. Okay. And that's in 20 games. So he scores in a touchdown 3 out of 4 games. So the guy just gets rushing touchdowns. I think that's going to happen. My other one is Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown, minus 135, even harder to go get.
Not bad.
But
not
this
bad.
guy has played 17 playoff games. He has 15 touchdowns. He scores playoff touchdowns. The guy is already second most in playoff receptions to only Jerry Rice, not just tight ends, wide receivers. The guy shows up in the biggest moments of the playoffs. Give me those 2 guys, especially Travis Kelce, anytime touchdowns for this game.
Yeah, those are good picks. I like your picks. I like both of your picks. Hey, I'll give you a couple player props too. I told you about that Philly defense. I'm going to go TJ Edwards over on tackles. He has 9 games where he's had at least 10 tackles.
Ooh, sneaky.
The line's 8.5. 8.5. Bet over 8.5 tackles for TJ Edwards. It's only minus 105, so almost an even bet there for TJ. And I think the defense is going to come to play. So that would make sense for me. If you think the game's going a different way, then you wouldn't bet that prop. The other one I'm going to give you is this guy behind me, man. Same one you had, same guy you had, T-Money, but I'm going for rushing yards, bet over 48.5.
Yeah.
It started as 47.5. It's now 48.5. He's averaged 51 rushing yards per game this year, and he's second most in the NFL in rushing. This guy's going to run the ball. I think he's going to get to the end of the game, and he's going to be running, trying to run out the clock. The Super Bowl record, 64, by Steve McNair. Hurts breaks that record and wins the game.
All right. I like it, G-Man. I like it.
Woo!
Some good player props. It looks like it's going to be Eagles versus Chiefs in the Ross household this weekend.
It sounds like that. You are correct, T-Money, and I know you know your stuff, so I respect your picks. I got one more prop for you, though.
Keep throwing them at me. All right, what you got?
The national anthem, the length of the national anthem, T-Money. I want to see what your pick is.
All right, I got it.
Chris Stapleton. Yeah. Chris Stapleton, the country singer.
Yep.
You know Tennessee Whiskey, all you fans out there. Tennessee Whiskey, 2 minutes, 7 seconds. Chris Stapleton is going to sing this. T-Money, you think he goes over 2 minutes and 7 seconds or under?
I think he goes over. 2 minutes and 7. I heard it at 2:02. It must have gotten a huge amount of bets on the over. So I might go under now, but I like the over. I like the over.
I'm going over.
You know, he's just such a slow singer. So, you know, I think he's going to go over.
Well, let me characterize that. I was leaning toward the over. I'm going to go under here, and I'm going under because the under has hit the last several years, except for last year was the first time. There was a duet before that. But yes, country singers tend to have a longer drawl, but they don't hang on some of the notes. And so I think, you know, Eric Church was the longest. He had a duet. He went 2:17. Luke Bryan went 2:04. The average is 159. So I think Eric Church, where does he go? I think he's under He's under that 2:07, man. I think he's under 2:07, down by Luke Bryan at 2:04. I'm going to be hanging on every word. It's the point that he starts his first letter of his first word to the last letter of the last word. I'm going under, man.
All right, we'll see.
And the reason I like under is this plus 145. The over is much worse odds. So it's really a better bet getting that plus 145 on the under, even though you could be right, T-Money, could go over, but the under just so attractive at plus 145.
Hey, I agree with you. G-Man, real quick, I want to throw one last, if anyone's scared of betting this before and they just don't know which way to go, the last 9 people to win the coin toss have lost the Super Bowl. So just a heads up.
Woo!
You win that coin toss, you might lose the game. Bowl.
Wow. Now that is good to know.
Random curse that's out in the middle of a random curse right now. So just heads up if you want to live bet that.
Watch out. Travis Kelce could be out there. Your boy could be out there calling that flip, man. Hey, we hope you're loving the Father, Son, Holy Sport NFL show, and we hope we got you ready for this weekend's game. Have a lot of fun on Sunday night, 6:30, and get ready and have some fun. Check out our website. Check out our other segments and clips at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. On behalf of T-Money, I'm G-Man. Enjoy the Super Bowl. See you next week.
All right. Peace.